Welcome to HD Rare Coins 111, the place where history meets treasure. Here, every coin tells a story, from the oldest United States classics that shaped our past to the newest rare discoveries that amaze collectors today. If you love the thrill of uncovering hidden value, exploring the beauty of design, and learning the secrets behind coins worth fortunes, then you're in the right place. Join us as we dive deep into the world of rare U.S. coins, both old and new, and reveal the fascinating details that make them priceless. Top 1. In the quiet hum of an early American morning, before the rush of traffic and before the world opened its doors for a new day, a tiny copper coin rolled off the presses of the United States Mint in 1961. It was small, only 1 cent in face value, yet it carried the weight of a nation's story, one shaped by hope, history, and the proud silhouette of Abraham Lincoln watching over every detail. This was the 1961 Lincoln penny, a coin that would journey through pockets, drawers, dusty jars, and decades of memories, only to return today as one of the most fascinating pieces a collector can hold in their hand. The year 1961 was a time of change. America was stepping forward into a new era, full of optimism and challenges. While the world saw the inauguration of President John F. Kennedy, the minting presses were busy creating millions of Lincoln cents, simple yet iconic coins made with a copper alloy that glowed like a warm ember when struck by the light. But among the countless coins produced, only a select few would go on to draw the attention of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters across the country. The 1961 Lincoln penny seems ordinary at first glance, but when you look closely it begins to reveal secrets, hidden clues that tell you why collectors hunt it, why certain rare varieties bring huge premiums, and why this little copper disc is not one you should ignore. The obverse proudly shows the profile of Abraham Lincoln, sculpted with extraordinary detail, his gaze strong and thoughtful. The reverse features the timeless Lincoln Memorial, a structure that houses more history than most books. But what makes this coin special? It's not just the design, it's the rarity that comes from unexpected mistakes. A regular 1961 penny is common, yes, but the rare ones, those are the ones that spark excitement in the collector community. That's where the story becomes truly thrilling. Point one of the biggest attractions is the 1961 double die variety. Imagine looking at the letters I in God We Trust or Liberty, and seeing the shapes doubled, ghostly shadows behind the original engraving. This isn't something created by a machine glitch, it's a minting accident so rare that most people never find one in circulation. But when they do, the value skyrockets instantly. Collectors love double dies because they capture a moment when the minting process slipped, leaving behind a variety forever frozen in time. Then there's the 1961 D penny, struck at the Denver Mint. While the D-Mint coins were produced in massive numbers, the rare high-grade pieces, especially those with perfectly sharp details and blazing original color, become incredibly valuable. A flawless 1961 D penny with full mint brilliance is something that can leave even seasoned collectors speechless. But the rarity doesn't end there. The 1961 coins also include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the planchet wasn't aligned correctly. These errors create unique, one-of-a-kind pieces that can never be duplicated. The more dramatic the shift, the more valuable the coin becomes. There are also clipped planchet errors, where a small curved slice appears to be missing from the coin's edge, another sign of an imperfect creation that transforms a simple penny into a collector's dream. Collectors adore the 1961 penny not just for errors, but for its place in history. It belongs to the years when America transitioned into the modern era, when copper cents still carried that iconic reddish-brown glow, when people could hold a piece of heritage right in their pocket. Many collectors today say they remember finding these coins in their childhood piggy banks, and that feeling of nostalgia alone draws them back to the hunt. As you hold a 1961 penny in your hand, whether ordinary or extraordinary, you're not just touching metal, you're touching a story. You're touching a chapter of America's past, preserved in copper. And that is why so many collectors listen carefully when a 1961 penny appears at an auction, a coin show, or even unexpectedly inside an old jar someone hasn't opened in 40 years. Because hidden among the common coins are those astonishing rarities worth far more than you might ever imagine. So, as we reach the heart of this video, listen closely. If you ever come across a 1961 Lincoln penny, do not ignore it. Check it carefully under good light. Look for doubling. Look for mint errors. Look for sharpness, brilliance, and original luster. Because treasures hide in plain sight, and the next rare penny could be sitting in your pocket this very moment. And now, as always, I invite you, our incredible viewers, to comment below about any coins you have. Whether it's a penny, a nickel, a quarter, or something unusual you can't identify, share it with us in the comments so we can give you information about your own coins and help you discover if you might be holding something rare and valuable. Finally, the real auction and market price for extraordinary rare examples of the 1961 Lincoln 1-cent penny can reach as high as $10,000. Remember to comment your coins, subscribe to the channel, and like the videos so you never miss another exciting story about rare and valuable coins. Top 2. In the quiet rhythm of American life during the mid-1970s, when the nation was changing rapidly and the world seemed to spin forward faster each year, a small copper coin entered circulation, simple, humble, and unnoticed by most people who held it for only seconds before spending it again. It was the 1974 Lincoln penny, a coin that would one day carry a story far greater than its 1-cent value. Even though millions were produced, only a small number would become treasures that collectors search for tirelessly today. And that is exactly why you must listen carefully, because this little penny has a history that is far more fascinating than people think. The year 1974 was a turning point in American coinage. Copper prices were rising, and the United States Mint was under pressure to find a cheaper alternative for the 1-cent coin. The world was changing, and so were the economics of making money itself. Behind the scenes, experiments were happening: tests, trial strikes, experimental planchets, coins made of materials never used before, all in the process of deciding what the future penny should be. Most people had no idea that the minting labs were overflowing with new ideas. The simple penny was on the verge of transformation. But before the change arrived, the 1974 copper Lincoln pennies were struck in huge quantities at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. To the untrained eye, they all looked alike, shining with that deep reddish glow familiar to collectors. But to those who study coins, to the people who truly understand how the smallest minting detail can change everything, the 1974 penny became a symbol of one of the most intriguing chapters in U.S. mint history. Collectors today are drawn to this coin not because every single piece is rare, but because certain versions contain mysteries, errors, or unusual qualities that can turn an ordinary penny into an extraordinary discovery. The design remains the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, facing right, his features sharp and full of character, while the reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, majestic, symmetrical, and filled with tiny details that were never meant to be overlooked. But what makes the 1974 penny stand out? Why do collectors study it under bright lamps, magnifying lenses, and high-resolution microscopes? The answer lies in the errors, the varieties, and the experimental history behind this year. One of the most famous discussions surrounding the 1974 penny involves the experimental aluminum cents that were struck but never released. These are not allowed to be owned today, but their existence adds a layer of myth and excitement around the 1974 penny series. The very idea that pennies of a different metal once existed makes collectors pay closer attention to every 1974 coin they come across. Among the regular copper pennies, the hunt begins with doubled die varieties. Some 1974 pennies show ghost-like doubling on the date, on the letters of liberty, or in the motto "I in God we trust." These doubled dies were created when the die shifted during the hubbing process, causing a second image to overlap the first. This kind of doubling is bold, dramatic, and extremely valuable, and the collectors who find one will often remember the moment forever. Imagine seeing those letters doubled so clearly that it feels like the coin is whispering a secret directly to you. Then there are the 1974 D pennies struck in Denver. While the Denver Mint produced enormous numbers of these coins, only a few survive today in perfectly preserved condition with full original luster and no marks at all. It is these high-grade examples, coins that look like they just left the mint yesterday, that collectors will pay premium prices for. Another category that makes 1974 pennies especially exciting is the broad range of mint errors that can occur. Off-center strikes are among the favorites, showing a dramatic shift in the design, leaving part of the coin blank and part of the design hanging on the edge. These errors are unique, no two are alike. A heavily off-center 1974 penny with visible date can attract enthusiastic bidding at auctions. Clipped planchet errors also appear in this year. These coins have small curved slices missing from their edges, as if someone took a bite out of them. These mistakes happen when a planchet is punched too close to the edge of the metal sheet. Though they look accidental and imperfect, collectors absolutely love them. There are also die cracks, cuds, lamination errors, and misaligned dies, each one creating a penny with personality, a coin that stands out from the millions around it. A simple crack in the die can leave a raised line across Lincoln's portrait, giving the coin a dramatic appearance that makes it desirable and valuable. What makes all of this even more interesting is that many people today still have jars or boxes filled with pennies from the 1970s. Some of these old containers have not been opened for decades. Somewhere inside one of them, a rare and valuable 1974 penny could be waiting to be discovered. Collectors know this, and that is why every time a 1974 penny appears in their hands, the excitement begins. Because coins from this year are not just metal, they are mysteries waiting to be solved. And now, as we reach deep into our story, I want you to imagine holding this coin. Feel its weight. Look at the date. Look at the shine. Look for anything unusual, anything out of the ordinary, anything that might make your coin the rare piece collectors dream of finding. Before we reveal the value, remember this: you should always comment below with any coins you have. Share them with us in the comments so we can help you identify them, give you accurate information, and tell you if your coin is rare, valuable, or something truly special. Your coin could be the next treasure we talk about, so do not hesitate. Comment your coins right now. And now, for the part collectors always wait for, an exceptional, rare, high-grade or error example of the 1974 Lincoln 1-cent penny can reach a value of $15,000. Comment your coins below, subscribe to the channel, and like the videos so you never miss another exciting story about rare and valuable coins. Top 3. In the early morning glow of 1980, when the United States was stepping into a new decade filled with ambition, hope, and economic challenges, a small copper-colored coin rolled out of the minting presses, tiny, bright, and full of potential. This was the 1980 Lincoln penny, a coin that millions of Americans handled every day without realizing that hidden among the ordinary pieces were extraordinary ones that collectors now search for with passion. The year 1980 wasn't just another year in coin history. It was a turning point, a moment when technology, minting quality, and rising metal prices began shaping the future of the beloved Lincoln cent. As America prepared to enter a new era, the Lincoln penny still carried its iconic design, the dignified portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, staring forward with quiet confidence, and the detailed Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. And yet, even though the design had remained unchanged for decades, something about the 1980 penny resonates differently with collectors. Maybe it's the nostalgia of the early 80s, a time when people still carried pockets filled with change, or maybe it's the unexpected varieties and errors that appeared that year, rare mistakes that transformed ordinary cents into incredible collector treasures. The 1980 penny was struck at 3 mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint produced millions of coins, yet among them were unique pieces that today stand out as rare gems. The Philadelphia coins, which had no mint mark, were spread widely across the country. But the Denver coins, marked with AD, are known for a specific set of high-quality strikes that collectors crave. And the San Francisco coins, marked with an S, were mostly proof coins, mirror-like masterpieces made for collectors, with surfaces so reflective they looked like tiny pools of still water. Collectors pay close attention to this year because it is rich with possibilities: doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, cuds, lamination errors, and some of the sharpest high-grade examples known in the Lincoln cent series. While ordinary 1980 pennies are common, the rare ones are incredibly valuable. And that is exactly why anyone holding a penny from this year should pay attention. Point one of the most sought-after varieties is the 1980 doubled die. These coins show doubling on the date, or the letters Liberty, or I in God We Trust. When you look closely and see doubled edges or shadow-like outlines behind the letters, it feels like you've uncovered a hidden secret left behind during production. These doubled dies don't happen often, and when they do, they create powerful collector demand. A strong doubled die from 1980 is one of the most thrilling finds for Lincoln cent enthusiasts. Another fascinating category is the off-center strike. Imagine a penny where the design is pushed to one side, leaving a blank crescent of copper on the other. The more dramatic the off-center shift, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date remains visible. A heavily off-center 1980 penny with the date intact is a treasure that can command impressive prices among collectors. Then there are clipped planchet errors, coins with smooth, curved bites missing from their edges. These mistakes occur when the metal strip used to create planchets is punched too close to the edge. The result is a coin that looks flawed to the untrained eye, but to collectors, it is a rare beauty, a unique piece of minting history. Die cracks also appear in 1980 pennies. These are raised lines across the surface caused by fractures in the die during production. Some are thin and subtle, while others can be dramatic, forming what collectors call cuds, raised blobs of metal that show where the die broke. These errors are captivating because they make every coin unique, each one a one-of-a-kind piece of history. Proof coins from 1980, especially those struck at the San Francisco Mint, offer another type of rarity. These coins are not just made, they are crafted with precision, polished dies, and sharp details. A perfect proof 1980 penny with deep mirrors and frosted designs can be breathtaking to look at. When found in flawless condition, these coins can sell for remarkable prices. Collectors love the 1980 penny because it represents the end of an era. Just a few years later, the United States Mint would shift from copper to copper-plated zinc in 1982. That means the 1980 penny is among the final years of true copper cents, coins with real weight, real substance, and a real connection to the history of American coinage. That fact alone makes this coin worth studying closely. When you hold a 1980 penny today, you're holding more than just a coin, you're holding a fragment of American life from over 40 years ago. It might have passed through stores, schools, gas stations, diners, or countless everyday transactions. Maybe it bought candy for a child, or maybe it sat untouched in a drawer for decades. Every coin has a story, and the 1980 penny carries one that collectors want to preserve. But what makes this coin even more exciting is the possibility. Because hidden among ordinary pennies are rare ones worth far more than you would ever expect. And you, yes you watching this video, might be holding one right now without knowing it. As we reach this point in the story, I want every viewer to listen carefully. If you have a 1980 penny, examine it under bright light. Look for doubling. Look for sharpness. Look for errors. Look for anything unusual. True treasures hide in places we least expect. And now, before revealing the value, remember to comment below with any coins you have so we can help identify them and tell you whether your coins are rare and valuable. This channel is here for you, and we love helping viewers discover the hidden stories behind their coins. So comment your coins, ask questions, and let us guide you through your coin collection journey. A rare high-grade or major error example of the 1980 Lincoln 1-cent penny can reach a value of $30,000. Comment your coins below, subscribe to the channel, and like the video so you never miss another exciting story about rare and valuable coins. Top 4. In the early months of 1990, when America was stepping confidently into the last decade of the century, when technology was advancing, music was changing, and the world felt like it was racing toward a new future, a small copper-colored coin quietly entered circulation. It was the 1990 Lincoln penny, simple, ordinary, and yet holding within it secrets that only collectors would truly appreciate. While most people spent it without a second thought, slipping it across store counters or tossing it into their pockets, a small number of these coins were destined to become rare treasures, pieces that today excite coin lovers all across the country. At first glance, the 1990 penny looks familiar. The classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln remains on the obverse, watching over generations from the same place he has occupied since 1909. His profile is sharp, his expression wise, his legacy unshaken. On the reverse stands the Lincoln Memorial, highlighted with strong lines and tiny architectural details so precise that many collectors still marvel at how much artistry fits into a coin so small. But even though the design hadn't changed, the era certainly had. The 1990s brought new minting techniques, new quality control challenges, and new opportunities for errors, those accidental mistakes that collectors love to chase. What makes the 1990 penny so interesting is that it sits at a crossroads of old and new. It was produced using modern methods, yet still carried the copper-plated zinc composition introduced earlier in the 1980s. This meant the coin was lighter, brighter, and more vulnerable to certain errors that older copper cents rarely experienced. And from that combination came a series of rare and surprising varieties that today are worth far more than a single cent. Collectors closely study this year because of one of the most famous modern minting mistakes ever discovered, the 1990 no-S proof penny. This rare error occurred at the San Francisco Mint, where proof coins, highly polished, mirror-finished masterpieces, are made for collectors. Every proof coin made in San Francisco should carry the S Mint mark, shining above the date. But in 1990, a small batch of proof pennies was mistakenly struck without the mint mark. That tiny missing letter turned an ordinary proof penny into a priceless treasure. Today, the 1990 no-S penny is one of the most sought-after modern coins in existence. But the story doesn't end there. The 1990 Philadelphia and Denver pennies also have their own mysteries. Even though millions were produced, only a small number remain in flawless condition, perfect strikes, full luster, untouched by circulation. High-grade examples with sharp details and brilliant reddish shine can bring exceptional prices because collectors know how difficult it is to find a 1990 penny without marks, spots, or discoloration. Another category that attracts coin lovers is the doubled die varieties. Some 1990 pennies show doubling on the lettering of Liberty, or I in God We Trust. Others show subtle doubling on the date. It takes a careful eye to spot these shadow-like outlines, but once you see them, you know you're looking at something extraordinary. A strong double die from this year is rare, exciting, and highly desirable. The 1990 pennies are also known for dramatic error coins, pieces that reveal what happens when the minting process goes wrong in spectacular ways. Off-center strikes are among the favorites. In these coins, part of the design is shifted toward the edge, leaving an empty crescent of blank metal. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin, especially if the date is still visible. Then there are broad strike errors, where the retaining collar fails and the coin spreads out wider than normal. These errors create a coin that looks flatter and broader, giving collectors a unique and eye-catching piece of minting history. Clipped planchets add another layer of rarity. These coins appear as though someone has cut a curved section off the edge. But in reality, the error happened before the coin was even struck. These mistakes make the coin look unusual and are always popular with collectors, especially when they occur on modern cents. Lamination errors also appear in 1990 pennies. These occur when the zinc core or copper plating separates or peels slightly, creating raised flakes or rough textures on the surface. While these are technically imperfections, they are imperfections that collectors value because they represent moments when the minting process took an unexpected turn. Die cracks, die chips, cuds, and misaligned dies, all of these can be found in 1990 pennies, and each error transforms an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. What makes this year fascinating is the huge range of possible varieties. You never truly know what you will find when you examine a 1990 penny closely, and that sense of mystery is what pulls collectors deeper into the world of numismatics. The 1990 penny also carries a sense of nostalgia. It comes from a time when children still checked their pocket change for shiny coins, when people kept jars full of pennies in cupboards and closets, and when every family had at least one forgotten coffee can filled with change. Somewhere in one of those jars, perhaps untouched for 30 years, may be a rare treasure waiting to be discovered. Imagine pulling out an old jar, pouring the coins onto a table, and seeing that small date, 1990, glow back at you. Imagine the excitement of inspecting it under a light, realizing the mint mark is missing or the strike is off center, or the doubling is bold. Moments like these are what collectors live for, and that's why I want you to listen carefully. If you have 1990 pennies at home, look at them closely. Examine the date. Check the mint mark. Inspect every detail. Hidden in the small details are the clues that determine whether your penny is ordinary or incredibly valuable. Before we reveal the price, remember to comment below with any coins you have. Share your penny, your quarter, your dime, anything you want to know about. Let us help you identify it. Let us help you discover whether you're holding a rare treasure. So comment your coins below and let us guide you. A rare high-grade or major error example of the 1990 Lincoln 1-cent penny can reach a value of $20,000. Comment your coins below, subscribe to the channel, and like the video so you never miss another exciting story about rare and valuable coins. Top 5. In the early 1990s, when America was stepping into a new technological age, when the world was shifting toward computers, digital communication, and rapid modernization, a small copper-plated zinc coin quietly entered circulation. It was the 1993 Lincoln penny, tiny, common-looking, and often overlooked by the millions of people who held it every day. But hidden within this year's minting were rare surprises, errors, and varieties that would later make coin collectors stop, look, and listen with intense interest. And that is exactly why you should pay close attention to the story of this coin, because the 1993 penny is far more fascinating than most people ever realize. The 1993 penny carries the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a face that has watched over generations since 1909. His expression is calm yet determined, carved with skill and quiet dignity. On the reverse stands the Lincoln Memorial, an architectural icon captured with incredible detail, right down to the tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside. But even though the design hadn't changed, the world around it had. By 1993, the United States Mint had fully embraced modern minting techniques, faster production speeds, and new systems that could produce billions of coins with extreme efficiency. And as every collector knows, when minting technology advances, a new wave of rare and surprising errors often follows. The 1993 penny was struck at 3 minting facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint produced millions of coins, yet among them were pieces so unique and unusual that today they command impressive prices. Collectors adore this year because it sits right at the heart of modern coinage, where modern mint errors, sharp high-grade strikes, and unexpected varieties create an exciting landscape of possibilities. One of the first things collectors look for in the 1993 penny is the doubling variety. Some coins from this year show doubling on the letters Liberty, or I in God We Trust. In certain examples, the doubling appears as a subtle shadow behind the letters, while in others it can be bold enough to notice even without magnification. These doubled dies are the result of imperfections during the hubbing process, and whenever they occur, they instantly become high-demand collector pieces. Another key variety is the 1993 D penny from the Denver Mint. While millions were minted, only a surprisingly small number remain in pristine condition today. High-grade examples, especially those with full original luster, sharp details, and brilliant surfaces, are incredibly valuable. The reason is simple: circulation was heavy in the 1990s, and very few coins survived untouched. So when a flawless 1993 D penny appears at auction, collectors pay close attention. But the real thrill for many collectors lies in the minting errors from this year. And 1993 did not disappoint. Off-center strikes are some of the most dramatic and desirable errors. Imagine holding a penny where the design is pushed off to one side, leaving a blank crescent of metal on the edge. These errors are fascinating because they reveal exactly what went wrong inside the minting machine. A 1993 penny struck 10, 20, or even 40% off-center, especially with the date still visible, can be worth a significant amount. Clipped planchet errors also show up in this year. These coins look as though someone cut a curved chunk out of their edge. But this error occurred before the coin was even struck, during the blanking process. Clipped planchets are highly desirable because no two are exactly alike, and they instantly turn a common coin into a collectible rarity. Another eye-catching category is the die cracks and die chips. These appear as raised lines or bumps of metal on the coin, caused by pressure cracks in the minting dies. Some of these die breaks are small, but others can be dramatic enough to form what collectors call cuds, large raised areas where part of the die actually broke away. A strong cut on a 1993 penny can turn an ordinary coin into a very valuable one, especially if the break occurs near the date or on a prominent design area. Then there are the lamination errors. These occur when the metal surface of the coin begins to separate or flake due to impurities within the planchet. Since modern pennies are made of zinc with a thin copper layer, lamination errors can be particularly interesting, sometimes peeling, sometimes bubbling, sometimes cracking in unusual patterns. These coins are considered unique works of minting history, each one telling a story about the materials and the machinery that created it. Proof pennies from 1993, minted in San Francisco with the S Mint mark, offer yet another beautiful example of collector craftsmanship. These mirror-finish coins, struck multiple times with polished dies, are breathtaking when found in perfect condition. Deep cameo proofs, with strong contrast between frosted designs and glass-like backgrounds, are highly prized. And any proof penny with an error becomes especially rare and extremely desirable. The 1993 penny also carries a sense of nostalgia. It recalls a time when most people still carried change everywhere they went, when vending machines and payphones were part of daily life, and when families saved coins in jars that sat untouched for years. Somewhere in one of those jars could be a rare 1993 penny, waiting for the right collector to discover it. Imagine being the person who opens such a jar, pours out the coins, and notices one penny glowing slightly differently. Maybe the date looks doubled. Maybe the mint mark is unusually shaped. Maybe the coin is off-center or has a dramatic die crack running across it. The thrill of discovery is what keeps collectors searching year after year, and that's why you, watching this video right now, should listen carefully. If you have 1993 pennies at home, look at them closely. Examine every detail. Check the mint mark. Look for doubling, errors, or unusual features. What seems like a simple penny could end up being a valuable gem in the world of numismatics. Before we reveal the value, remember to comment below with any coins you have. Share your pennies, nickels, quarters, anything you're curious about. Our channel is dedicated to helping you identify your coins, giving you accurate information, and showing you whether your coin might be rare and valuable. So comment your coins right now and let us help you discover their stories. A rare high-grade or dramatic error example of the 1993 Lincoln 1-cent penny can reach a value of $12,000. Comment your coins below, subscribe to the channel, and like the video so you never miss another exciting story about rare and valuable coins.